You know, deep below the waves, there's a world that's more alien than anything you'll see in a sci-fi movie. So, let's take a journey to the bottom of the sea, diving down into a realm where the rulebook for life gets totally rewritten. You're about to find out why the deeper we go, the weirder things get. Get this. We have mapped the surface of Mars and distant galaxies, but we've explored less than 5% of our own oceans. It's absolutely wild, but it's true. We actually know more about the face of the moon than we do about the deepest parts of our own planet. So that's the big question, isn't it? What is hiding in all that unexplored darkness? It's a question that's fascinated people for centuries. But now, with incredible new technology, we can finally start to get some answers. So come on, let's descend layer by layer and see what we find. Okay, our first stop is the twilight zone. Once you get below about 200 meters, the sunlight starts to seriously fade out. We're in a perpetual dusk. Photosynthesis, the process that powers pretty much all life on the surface, it's impossible down here. This is where the rules start to break, and we're entering the real gateway to the deep. Life down here is tough, for sure. With no plants, the entire ecosystem relies on this slow, constant blizzard of stuff drifting down from above. Scientists have a great name for it: marine snow. The whole world here is built on leftovers, and every single calorie counts. So how do you survive? Well, evolution basically came up with two brilliant, but totally opposite game plans. The first one is simple: just disappear. Creatures like the glass squid and the glass octopus have evolved to be almost completely transparent. They're like living ghosts in the gloom. But the other option, if you can't vanish, you make your own light. And that leads to this incredible concept called counter-illumination. I know, it sounds like a total contradiction, using light to hide. But in the Twilight Zone, it is one of the most sophisticated forms of camouflage on the entire planet. It's a critical weapon in the endless arms race between who eats and who gets eaten. Okay, so picture this. You're a predator, you're deep down, and you look up. What do you see? The dark shape, the silhouette of your next meal against that faint light filtering down from way, way above. But, and this is the genius part, animals like the firefly squid have these light-up organs on their bellies. They switch them on, adjust the brightness to perfectly match the glow from the surface, and poof, their shadow is gone. They just became invisible. Now, this whole light-bending trick is super important because every single night, billions of these animals take part in the largest migration on Earth. To get to the food-rich waters near the surface but avoid being seen by daytime predators, creatures like squid and krill swim up from the depths at dusk and then dive back down into the gloom at dawn. It's called the diel vertical migration, and it's so massive that sonar operators back in World War II actually mistook it for a false bottom of the ocean that seemed to move up and down with the sun. All right, let's go deeper. Past 1,000 meters, the very last photons of sunlight are gone. Welcome to the midnight zone. We are now in a world of total permanent darkness. Temperatures are near freezing, and the pressure is crushing. Down here, survival isn't just about hiding anymore. It's about mastering the dark. This is where evolution gets really, really weird. In the pitch black, light becomes a weapon. You've got the dragonfish, which has a secret searchlight. It produces red light, which most other deep-sea creatures can't even see, letting it shine a spotlight on its prey without them ever knowing. Other hunters have developed a real-life invisibility cloak. Skin so black, it absorbs over 99.5% of any light that hits it, making them look like a hole in the universe. And of course, there's the famous anglerfish, with its own personal glowing fishing rod.
But you know what? That glowing lure is probably the most normal thing about the anglerfish. When it comes to finding a mate in this huge, empty darkness, evolution took a turn that is, well, it's extreme. And that's putting it very, very mildly.
So check this out. The male anglerfish is tiny, practically useless. His one and only job in life is to find a female. When he finally does, he bites her, and his body literally fuses into hers. His organs dissolve everything until he's nothing more than a permanent attached sperm sac, getting all his food from her blood. The female, who's a giant hunter by comparison, can end up carrying several of these little parasitic males around for her entire life. Okay, plunging deeper still. We're leaving the open water and arriving at the seafloor, the abyssal plain. Think of it as a vast, cold, muddy desert that covers more than half of our planet's surface. That makes it the single largest habitat on Earth, and we've barely even scratched the surface of exploring it. The pressure is unbelievable, and food is harder to find than ever. Life down here is slow, it's sparse, but it's also surprisingly big. A lot of the creatures in the abyss have evolved to be enormous compared to their relatives in shallow water. It's a phenomenon called deep sea gigantism, and honestly, the exact reasons why, whether it's the cold, the pressure, or something else entirely, are still a big scientific mystery. And when I say giants, I mean it. Giant isopods, which are basically relatives of the little pill bugs you find in your garden, can grow to the size of a small dog. Tiny crustaceans called amphipods can get longer than your hand. And this slow, cold world also creates incredible longevity. The Greenland shark, which patrols these depths, can live for more than 400 years, making it the longest living vertebrate we know of. But believe it or not, we're not at the bottom yet. Beyond the abyss, you find the trenches, the deepest scars on the face of our planet. This is the Hadal Zone, and it's named after Hades, the mythological underworld. Trust me, it earns the name. This is the most extreme environment on Earth, period. The pressure down here is almost impossible to wrap your head around. It's over 1,000 times what we feel at sea level. To put that in perspective, that's like having dozens of jumbo jets stacked right on top of you. It's a force that should, by all logic, instantly crush any form of life. Which, of course, leads to the big question. In a place with absolutely zero light, near freezing temperatures, and bone-shattering pressure, how could anything possibly survive? For centuries, scientists just assumed these trenches were lifeless voids. They were so wrong. Meet the Mariana snailfish. This small, gelatinous, almost fragile-looking thing is the undisputed king of the abyss, the deepest living fish ever found. It doesn't just survive in these crushing depths, it thrives. And it's because its body evolved to be different, right down to the molecular level. It has no rigid bones, and its cells are full of special molecules that stop its proteins from getting smashed by the pressure. And even more mind-blowing, there are entire ecosystems down here that have nothing to do with the sun. At hydrothermal vents, cracks in the Earth's crust spew out superheated water packed with chemicals. And microbes down there eat these chemicals, like hydrogen sulfide, in a process called chemosynthesis. They become the bottom of a whole food chain for weird worms, clams, and crabs. It's life powered by pure chemistry from the core of our planet. So as we start our ascent back to the surface, it becomes really clear that every single discovery we make in the deep sea just opens up a dozen new questions. For everything we've learned, we are still just scratching the surface of this incredible inner world on our own planet. We still can't fully explain deep sea gigantism. We don't really know all the reasons why almost 3/4 of all deep sea life creates its own light. We're just beginning to understand the molecular magic that lets creatures like the snailfish survive impossible pressures. And maybe the biggest question of all, with more than 80% of the ocean still a mystery, how many more of these alien creatures are just waiting to be found? And that leaves us with this one last huge idea to think about: exploring the Hadal Zone. It's like exploring another planet. If life can find a way to thrive in these extreme, sunless places powered by chemical energy from a planet's core, what does that tell us about the chances for life on icy moons out there, like Europa or Enceladus, which we know have their own deep, dark oceans? It turns out the aliens we've been looking for might have been right here all along.